Morning all. Right, so February is all about stage 2, as we know. So we are on Renourish and Relieve. So just to recap, so Renourish, we're looking at increasing our protein and our healthy fats and all our plants for all their phytonutrients and fibre. And Relieve is referring to relieving stress and inflammation. So this week we're going to focus a little bit more on fats and how we sort of should be bringing fats into our diet and what fats to be avoiding, because I think there's still quite a lot of confusion, and I think that carbohydrates and proteins, they're quite obvious really, you know, what carbs and proteins we should be eating and should be avoiding and things like that, whereas I think fats, it gets a little bit more muddy. So I want to do a little bit talking about fats today for you. So I think the first thing I want to say is that obviously it's been quite difficult for women of a certain age, all of us lot, because we were all brought up on the fat-free revolution. Everything had to be fat-free, low fat, fat removed, blah, blah, blah. But what the problem was that taking a lot of those healthy fats out of our diet had been a problem, because we need healthy fats, and we'll see why in a bit. But also because what a lot of the processed foods did when they took the healthy fats or the natural fats out of our food to give us our low fat and fat free options that we wanted, they were replacing those fats with chemicals like emulsifiers and things like that to keep the texture, or sugars to keep the flavour, and basically really processing these foods. So very often the fat-free and low-fat versions were much less healthy than the original full-fat versions. But we'll talk more about that in a second as well. So what I want to talk about today is what fats we should be eating and why we need to have healthy fats in our diet. So healthy fats are really important because they do give us energy. We can get energy from fats. We also need fats to make a lot of our hormones. So for example, cholesterol, which is we make from fat, and cholesterol becomes testosterone and things like that. So it is, and we need fats to make things like estrogen as well. So in fact, going completely fat-free and cutting a lot of fat out of our diet can be quite problematic for our hormone balance. We do need these healthy fats in our diet, so don't cut out too much fat. Also, our brains are actually at least 60-70% omega-3 fats in our brain. So if you imagine that you're somebody that's been having like a fat-free, low-fat diet for years and years, you're starving your brain of all those really crucial healthy fats for brain function as well. So fats are useful for that. Fats also help us to absorb a lot of our crucial vitamins. So vitamin A, D and E, it's like a test now, A, D and E are all fat soluble vitamins. So we need fats to be able to absorb those vitamins. So it's really important, again, that you're having some fat with those vitamins, otherwise you just pee them out. What else do we need fat for? We need fat for insulation. We need fat to make certain other compounds in the body and for energy, like I said. And also certain fats will, the healthy fats will help to lower things like unhealthy cholesterol in the body and therefore support our cardiovascular health. So we really do want to make sure that we are getting some healthy fats in our diet. The problem with having healthy fats in our diet and trying to lose weight, which is a goal for quite a lot of us on this group, is that although I want to eat better, feel better, we don't count calories. We still need to be aware of calories, because whilst it's not all just about calories in, calories out for weight loss, especially, you know, when we've got hormones and stress and, you know, digestive issues and things like that all involved, at the same time, there is still that fundamental part that if you're overeating calories, you are not going to lose weight, because your body's not going to go into those fat stores in your body to get energy, because you're eating enough energy and it doesn't need to do that. So as much as we don't want to count calories and be obsessive with counting calories, we also need to be aware that fat has twice the number of calories per gram than carbohydrates and protein. So carbs and protein are about 4 calories per gram, and fat is 9 calories per gram. So it's a bit of a fine line when you're trying to lose weight. You need to make sure that you are getting enough of these healthy fats in your diet to sustain your brain function, your hormone function, your nutrient absorption, and all those sorts of things. But you also want to not be having too many fats, that you are going to be taking on too many calories and therefore not needing to go into your fat reserve to break down the fat for energy. So I would say that you know, having 2 to 3 portions of healthy fats a day is plenty, especially if you are still having a few starchy carbs in your day. If you're doing complete keto where you're having no carbs and you're having protein and fat, it's slightly different because you're not having the carbs, but most of us do like to have some sort of healthy carb, a low glycemic carb in the day. So therefore, and we're having lots of veggies as well. So because our carb intake is still quite high, even though it's all very healthy carbs, keto isn't really what we're doing here. So we want to make sure that we're only really having 2 to 3 portions of healthy fats a day. So what does that look like? Healthy fats would be something like, I mean, I think you guys know this already, but avocados, olive oils, nuts and seeds, although be careful with those because they do have inflammatory fats in them as well. Oily fish, so salmon, anchovies, mackerel, those kinds of fish. They're really, the olives are a great source as well. And you can get, obviously you'll get fats from things like, you know, your dairy, so Greek yogurt and things like that. So I would say that a portion of fat would be, if it's something like an avocado, you know, half a medium-sized avocado. If it's salmon, I would say, you know, one to 1.5 fillets of salmon would be a portion of fat, because you're getting all that protein in there as well, and you're probably having it with vegetables, which is fibre. So you know, we would want to have lots of oily fish in our diet. If it's olive oil, probably like a tablespoon of olive oil would be a portion. So it's just being aware of how much healthy fats you are having, because that could be blocking the weight loss. So I would say if you're having a salad, it's great to put a little bit of olive oil or some avocado in that salad, or an oily fish in that salad, because what that's going to do is that fat is going to help you to absorb the vitamins, the fat soluble vitamins in your salad. So definitely do it, but just in your head be aware, right, I'm having some olive oil on my salad, that's one of my fats for the day. So don't then, you know, go and have a big handful of nuts and seeds in the afternoon and a massive portion of salmon with you know, a cauliflower cheese in the evening. You're overdoing the fats, even though they're all sort of, you know, healthy sources. Saturated fat is still, you know, a relatively healthy fat. So the ones that you really want to avoid are the trans fats that are, you know, in all the processed food and, you know, the fried food, all the obvious bad fats. Saturated fats is a bit more murky, because we do need some saturated fats in our diet. So that's going to be coming from things like coconut milk, dairy, animal products, so any kind of meat, any fat on your meat is going to be saturated fat, and eggs have got some saturated fat in as well. And again, it's just about sort of being aware of how much saturated fat you're having. It's okay to have some saturated fat, it just don't have, you know, loads and loads of it. So if you're having, for example, one client this week, she says to me every day she makes a homemade soup. Brilliant, you know, she's making this homemade vegetable soup, and I said, what are you putting in the soup? And she's doing loads of different vegetables, amazing, but she's making it with coconut milk because she likes the taste of coconut milk. And she's using full fat coconut milk because she's always told that full fat's better than fat free. The problem is that that's making that soup very high in fat and very high therefore in calories. So as much as it's healthy, if she's having that and then she's having, you know, a high calorie, very fatty dinner, or she's having fats in the rest of the day, that's quite a lot. So so we are trying to move her onto the, you know, the lighter version of the coconut milk, just to give her a little bit more leeway with having her fats on other things, like if she wants some olive oil and avocado, or if she wants, you know, some salmon for dinner, or you know, another fish, then it's giving her that flexibility to do that. Whereas at the moment she was having pretty much her whole daily allowance of fat in her soup. So it's just being a little bit aware. So I hope that this kind of gives you a little bit of pause for thought. I will be posting some tips about fats on here over the course of the week, but I'd love for you guys to ask me any questions. So, you know, if you've got any questions about fats, you want to know more about portion control, or you want to know about, you know, more about different types of fat, or you've got questions. One that always comes up also is fat-free versus full fat Greek yogurt. Again, if you're looking for weight loss, personally, I would say have the fat-free yogurt, because you're saving your fats for something else, like your, you know, your dinner or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with full-fat Greek yogurt. It's just that you need to be aware that you're having, you know, your fats there. So it's just about sort of getting that fine line and that balance between your personal preferences and what you like to eat, but also being aware that, okay, so I've had my fats in that. So, you know, if you're somebody that's having like a, you know, a nutty homemade granola for breakfast with your full fat Greek yogurt, that's quite a high fat breakfast. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just you've got to be aware that you're having probably your full day's fat in your breakfast. So I hope that helps. I've rambled again, but I hope you're all having a lovely day. Let's have a great week. Keep posting, keep sharing. I can see Martine's watching, so hi Martine, welcome to the group. It's lovely to have you here. Please do post, say hello, and feel free to ask any questions and comment. Tamara shared the shawarma, lamb and chickpea recipe last night that she made from the meal plan. I made a chicken and rice dish yesterday. I'm going to share on the group later as well. So let's all have a cracking week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.